social media world can seem big and scary, especially through the eyes of a parent with lots of platforms to monitor and understand. That parental process can be intimidating. In today's Tech Check, Deseret News columnist Amy Iverson is prepared to put us through a social media boot camp of sorts. It's always great to see you, and I comment frequently when we're together. This is one of the things I think you are doing so right, is you're tech savvy and you're a parent, and you're able to kind of bring those two worlds together and hopefully help us do the same.
Well, I'm in the thick of this with all of you right now. So these are questions people come up to me when I do workshops about keeping kids safe online. People have questions about social media the most because parents say, oh, I'm not even on social media. And so we need to help parents step by step. This week we're focusing on Instagram.
There's like 8 social media sites, popular ones to choose from. Where are our kids? Where should, as parents, we focus our monitoring energy and
You'll
time?
hear all the time the most popular social media site is Facebook, and that's true for adults, but that's because so many older people are getting on Facebook.
Right.
Young people, Snapchat's #1, Instagram's a close second.
So that's where you need to be.
Yes.
And the first thing as you talk to parents that you emphasize is the age requirements. Your child needs to hit a certain benchmark, not just by standards, but maturity.
And legality. We've talked about this before. A lot of parents sneak on this. Instagram says explicitly that children are supposed to be 13 before they get on Instagram. Let's all help out on that. So they say, make sure your kid's 13. If you see a kid on there who isn't 13, that's because there's stuff on there that maybe they're not ready for. Instagram encourages you to report them. It's anonymous, but just say, hey, Junie is not 13, and you can report it, and then they'll get a little warning.
You know what?
Let's help each other.
Snitch. Exactly. Yeah. Let's keep that age requirement there for all of us, so that so-and-so down the street who has Instagram and whose mom is cooler than us, right, doesn't become the comparison. So you mentioned actually join the platforms. That's step 1 to getting involved, but there are privacy settings you want parents to be aware of as well.
There are, because it's public by default. So you have to know that when you first sign your kid up, it's public by default. You have to go in and change it in the settings to be private. That's the only way you can protect your kids on Instagram, because there aren't those parental controls, that you have to know who they're following and kind of monitor that so they're not following people they shouldn't to see things they shouldn't.
I love this next guideline, and it's up to parents to enforce it. Despite the rules and regulations and age standards and privacy standards, you need to teach your kids that some things are just not your business.
Yeah, and that's where privacy comes into, because that little public profile, your picture and then your bio, that will always be public. You can't change it. So that's the first thing you have to talk about. Hey, are you accidentally putting the name of your school in your picture? What are you saying about yourself? Everyone everywhere in the world will be able to see that forever. And then be careful about how some things just aren't their business. Talk to them about not talking about where they go to school or their routines, because even if there's a bully on there, you just have to be careful about what you post. You have to talk to your kids about it all the time.
Just being socially sensitive. I mean, you're seeing a whole new generation of mean girl as they're sharing their social activities and what parties they're at, and there's just a whole consideration factor there.
Yeah, and you can unfollow someone, right? You have to know that nobody knows that. They don't get notified. The only way they would know is if they looked you up and saw that they weren't following you anymore. And if someone's seeing things or posting things that are inappropriate, you can block them. And I don't know if you know this, but that means they can't even search for your profile. If you block someone because they're saying mean things or posting inappropriate things, if you block them, they can't even search Brooke Walker. You won't come up.
Interesting. Are you warning your kids in advance? Yes, you're going to see inappropriate photos. Yes, you're going to see inappropriate content. And how are you coaching them to work around that?
Yeah, and this happened in our family when my kids loves looking up workout videos, right? So then every time I would look at the Instagram under the search, you would push the search, and it was like scantily clad people doing workout things, which I didn't want.
Yeah.
So every night for about 2 weeks, I went through, pushed every one of those and hit show me less of these, show me less of these, showing less of these. We can train Instagram. Yeah, we like workout videos, but we don't want these types of workout videos, you know.
And so, how long does it take for Instagram to pick up on your preferences?
I did it about 2 weeks, and I noticed a difference.
Okay.
And now every once in a while, I'll go on, just kind of hit that search button, make sure weird things aren't popping up, because just like all of the internet, things come up that we don't mean to see. We were looking for how to do a self-breast exam, and then we get all these things.
Who knows?
So you can fix it.
So you're in there, in your kids' accounts, like actively monitoring and blocking and all of that.
Yeah, and especially if you know there's an issue, of course that's something you want to do, but just know that you have a say, you have a voice, you can go in and make a difference in what Instagram's showing your kids.
I imagine this will be a hot column this week. A lot of parents anxious for your advice. Where can we find your words?
DeseretNews.com/Amy.
Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you.